Welcome to my session.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a great pleasure to welcome you. And I'm really excited to have your interview because you represent the district which is largest community of Nepalese are living, and moreover not only Nepalese, the Spanish community, Latino community, South Asian community. There is also Bengali, Indian and Pakistani as well, and some Chinese, Korean, from the different castes and different countries are living here in your state, in your district, District 13 of New York State. How you would like to interpret interpret the diversity of your state?
Well, I call it usually the United Nations of all Senate districts, because that's what it is. It's the United Nations, where you have so many people coming from so many different countries that call this district home. And I'm very proud to represent it because it's the diversity that really gives us the strength. And a lot of people look at this district and ask the question, how is it that people all over the world can't get along, but yet in this district people get along, even though people who are usually at each other's throats anywhere else in the country, in the world, here they're not. And it's because we respect each other. It's because we understand that we all have the basic needs. We want better education. We want better housing. We want a better future for our children. We want better jobs. We want better pays. Right? So it's all about those issues, and living together as one community sends a loud message. And people look at this district.
All of them want to have the American dream.
Yeah, we all want to live the American dream.
Yes. My question is, this is really challenging for you as well, so far as I'm concerned, because they are from different culture, different caste, different geography in the world, different part of the world, and they have different socio-economic background as well, different political backgrounds, different race, different caste. What are your policies to address them and to respect their diversity, to address their own uniqueness? And to protect their socio-economic and political cultures?
Well, first we have to learn about the people's cultures, right? We have to understand their culture and what it was like back home in comparison to what the expectations are here. I get to talk to the community members. I get to hear and experience, whether it's through stories or film or newspapers or interviews or food, right? We get to exchange ideas. But again, the basic underlying principle is they come to this country to live the American dream, and they want an improved quality of life. And that's what everyone wants to experience here. They want a better life not only for themselves, but for their children in the future. So the fact that we can talk to them about having clean streets, having small businesses that they can thrive, having them have their children go to good schools, having affordable housing, having no one discriminate against them. And that's something that, especially now during this federal administration with number 45, you get to hear a lot of. So making sure that they feel safe. Because the reason they came to this country was for protection. So as long as people are within those lines, then everything is fine. But we do get, on occasion, people who want to discriminate, and that is unacceptable to us.
Exactly. And I have seen you a lot of times to the community program, different communities in this district. That is quite appreciating as well. But would you mind to mention that what is your specific plan to incorporate them physically, to involve them into political decision making?
We have what we call ambassadors in my district, and really what that is we call people who live in the area, and we try to engage them civically and politically onto events. What events that we're doing, events that the community is having, like if the NYPD is having something, if the community board is having something, if another elected official, and we try to engage them and educate them on what's happening around them in the community and what's happening locally, what's happening statewide, what's happening on the federal level. And we hold town hall meetings to discuss certain issues. For example, when it comes to discrimination and knowing your rights, we've held various town hall meetings where we talk to the schools and the PTAs of the schools, the parents at the schools, so that they can come and bring the adults so they can learn about what to expect. And we have educational programs on what's going to happen on certain streets if you want a light on your street, or if you want your street paved, what the process is. So we try to engage them as much as possible by having town hall meetings, by calling people up and explaining to them, asking them if there's anything that they need, right? And then when they do, if they are some concerns, we kind of lead them along the way so they understand how we got from A to B to make it happen. So we try to engage them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes
it takes time as well.
Yeah, sometimes people just want to get their issue resolved and then they'll move on. But we try to engage them as much as possible.
Yes, most of the time people think that let it go as well, and you have to drag them to the proper way. This is really good to know that you win and win, and I would like to congratulate you for that as well. 7 years is really a good period to serving the community, and still we want your more service as well. What is your major achievement during these 7 years, and what do you think that where you found your community when you were serving at 10 and now 17? What is the status of your community during these 7 years?
Well, we've had much success. We've had over the years we've increased the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Which, by the way, now we need to increase it again because it's still not enough. But still, it was a good movement in the right direction. We've had universal pre-K to teach our kids at a much younger age so that they can learn earlier. And it's proven, study after study, that the earlier that they get an education, the better they turn out to be and get more involved. We've had paid family leave, which is a program that will allow an individual to take up 12 weeks of work, 12 weeks off from work if there's an emergency, right? If you have to take care of your family member, your parents, your wife, right? Things of that nature. You get 12 weeks of paid family leave, which it's the most in any other state in the country, which is huge. So we've had that. Last year we raised the age, which allowed 16 and 17-year-olds to no longer be incarcerated with adults. We successfully pushed for $10 million immigration legal defense fund, which means that now anyone who's going through the deportation process will be able to get a paid attorney from the beginning to the end. No questions asked. It's just if you're going through the process. We're in the process of bringing legal services here. We have attorneys that have started already in this office to fight housing discrimination, to fight immigration issues. We've also managed to bring millions of dollars into the community. Last year alone, we pushed for $1.1 billion in school funding to create schools and to fund schools. And out of that, there should be $18 million that come into this district. But it's still not enough. So what we did was we started allocating different millions of dollars across the schools in this district to fix auditoriums, to upgrade air conditioning, things of that nature that are necessary for the community, and also help not-for-profit organizations that
what kind of help?
The not-for-profits,
you donate them, or you have some programs to donate them?
We've given funding to them so that they can help on immigration, on housing services, on ESL, just learning. Civic engagement, right? So getting fit. There's so many different organizations we've given funding to. So these are some of the successes that I've managed to do over the last 7 years. But more importantly, just the fact that we serve thousands of constituents on an annual basis here.
Exactly.
The people who come through that door that ask for so much, and we have so many success stories that come out of it, where people are just happy that their issues have gotten resolved. Sometimes we take pictures with them, and they're very thankful, and they don't forget that. That's what this is all about. It's about giving back to the community, helping them, regardless of immigration status. No one asks about immigration status here. And we try to make people feel comfortable. We get people here that are out of district, that are that come from Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan.
Even that's not your district.
Even though it's not my district, but they come anyway because either they see me on TV.
Are they eligible to get service from you as well?
Yeah, we try to help them. Now we try to refer them to their legislator. Now their legislator doesn't help them, then then we try to help them as much as possible because we want to provide as much service as possible.
Yeah, so just New York State passed a budget as well, where you played a major role there. And what was the real achievement for this district?
Well, again, in terms of the budget, $1.1 billion for school funding. $18 million should be coming to this district alone. We've funded millions of dollars for NYCHA services, for housing, NYCHA, public housing. We've raised the age, which is an issue, right, to eliminate 16 and 17-year-olds out of the prison system and no longer with adults. Yes. There's also funding for college affordability, CUNY, right? Yes. Free tuition, yes. Right? Which is something that is huge, right? Because yes, we talked about UPK, yeah. Right? We talked about starting them early at the age of 4, which now we're going to talk about getting them even earlier at the age of 3. But we started them early at the age of 4. But at the end of that is college, right? So how do you help individuals who want to go to college but may not be able to afford it? And here is this program, this college affordability program, that will allow individuals that make under 110, eventually under 125,000 household income, and they get free tuition. They don't have to pay for anything. Yeah, one more follow-up questions that I have is just the House passed the tax policy as well. What's your comment regarding this? I agree. I mean, this tax plan is not at all in favor of not only low but also middle-class families, where this is really a Trojan horse, where they're trying to sell it as it's going to help lower to middle income class individuals, but in reality it's for the rich and the billionaires, so that they can get the massive loopholes and they can benefit from it. So I believe the way that the Republicans are doing this is that they're throwing it out there publicly so that they can have leverage during the negotiation process. But I'm going to make this is that now all of us need to be average and I hope so we push that. That has been very successful. Again, it's about educating the small business that it actually exists. A lot of people don't know that it exists. Yes. So we got to let people know that it's out there. I've had conversations with the Lieutenant Governor about it, Kathy Hochul, that we need to do a better job in educating small businesses that it's out there, and that's something that can help. Then we're also, for the lower income individuals, we're on the verge of proposing legislation that talks about if you're a renter or you're a property owner making a certain amount, which is above the median what the person makes here, they'll get some tax credit when it comes to either paying rent or if you're paying your mortgage. So that's something we're going to be releasing pretty soon, and I think people are going to be very happy with that. This District 13 is known as the District of Immigrants as well, where you're representing. Ground zero. Yes, ground zero. So what is your policies and what is your assurance to the people who are living here
to not to be afraid or to get the benefits of immigrants' policies? What is your
well, as soon as we heard that number 45 was stripping people's rights, and whether it's DACA and creating bans on Muslims, we immediately took action and we created sanctuary districts. New York City is a sanctuary city, but we created sanctuary districts where we created hotlines where if anyone is discriminated against, they can use that telephone number, they can call us, and we'll provide attorneys. Again, the other issue was having funding for these attorneys. That's why we got $10 million for the Legal Defense Fund, so that we can fund them. So they know that if they're going to start the deportation process or whatever process it is, they're taken care of.
So you mean if any people have problems with immigration issues, policies, they will get benefit from Senator's office, right?
Yeah, yeah. They can reach out. They can reach out because we have immigration attorneys, and we can also refer them to who will deal with or who can work with them for the Legal Defense Fund. And that's very important.
Talk about the Nepalese community. I think informal source said that in Queens we have a Nepalese community. 35,000 Nepalese are living in the Queens.
It's growing. And
it's growing as well in the rapid way. And the District 13 is one of the heaviest populated areas of the Nepalese community. How are you informed about, and what is your information regarding Nepalese community living in your district?
Well, I see it based on the amount of businesses that are popping up. The Nepali businesses that are showing up,
especially in the Jackson Heights,
especially in Jackson Heights area, right? So I see it in that sense, and we're trying to get a hold on what are some of the needs based on what the businesses are. But we know, just like in every community, there's a business community and then there's a non-business community, and there are different needs. So we're trying to get an organization, maybe a religious group, that can help us understand what are the needs of the Nepali people that's not related to business, right? We're hearing stuff on the business end, but we're not hearing from the community yet. But it's just a matter of time. I know that eventually, whether it's going to be a church or it's going to be a group that starts up, a not-for-profit group, that we'll start hearing from the community.
Yes, and what is your opinion regarding them?
Well, I'm very happy that they're here, that they're starting businesses, which is very good. Anytime someone comes from a different country, picks up and leaves their homeland and starts a new business somewhere else and succeeds, I applaud. So very happy that they're here, that they're calling Queens home, and they're growing and they're getting involved, which is something good.
Exactly. And have you heard about Nepal as well, and do you have any information about that country?
I heard a little bit about it. Again, we're trying to get more and more information on Nepali, and it's based on the food that I've eaten, Nepalian food, which is good. But you know, we're learning. We're learning about the community,
and we practice a different culture than others, and we want to serve our culture here in the United States. So this is being a most diversified district. Do you have any specific plans for the Nepalese community as well? Or
not yet. I need to learn more about the culture, and I need to learn. And again, the more I learn, and the more that I can invite the community up to Albany, so I can hear the concerns, the better it is. But once I hear more of the concerns, then definitely be engaged. Yeah,
but sometimes Nepalese community leader used to say that, oh, Senator Peralta rarely come to our program because he's a very busy guy. We even try a lot, but we get very few chances to get him in our community programs. Well, they have this kind of, that is not complaint at all, but they used to say, and they want you to be there as well. Yeah, no, if they let us know, right? If they let us know when, right, and how it's. Sometimes you got to understand. Sometimes there's a conflict in schedule, right? Yeah. So we ask individuals and groups to let us know in advance, way in advance, several weeks in advance, right? Because sometimes on a particular day there could be 6 events on one night. Yeah, I understand. Right? So if we get informed the day before or 2 days before that, oh, on 2 days from now there's this event,
well, my schedule may be already packed, right? So it's like, what would I do? Would I then call another group and say, I can't go to your event anymore, even though I told you I was going to go because I'm going to go to this one, right? So that's why we try to, as long as they give us enough notice,
happy to join.
We will be happy to join.
What is your message to them, to Nepalese community, especially to the Nepalese community?
Well, the message is very happy that the community is here, very happy the community is growing. If they can get more involved civically and engage, because I get it, just like every immigrant, first they come here and they are always worried about what's happening back home, right? You're always going to worry about what's happening back home. But at the same time, understand that now that you've made this new life here in Queens, in New York, in America, and it's also good to get involved here and get engaged here. So that way you can get involved back home and get involved here. And I think once that happens, I think you will have more of a representation from people and people wanting to participate in events, upcoming events, because now they will know that it's an emerging community that's active.
Being a district senator, do you have any information or any ideas or any connection with our country?
In terms of the political system back home, no. But like I said, I'm always willing to learn so that we can, once the elections are over, right, we can have a relationship with whoever wins and the new leadership that established there. And then maybe have an ongoing dialogue where we can start talking about how we can work together, New York State and the Nepali government.
Yes. And what would be your response if our government invite you to visit Nepal?
Depending again, the time frame in terms of when it is, but I would love to go.
Thank you for your time and opinion,
Thank you.
Senator. Thank you very much.
Thank you.